The pick is in. Your Cleveland Browns, they have not traded out of this pick. They are picking number 5 overall in that blockbuster trade with Jacksonville. We'll have that along with the chime in just a few moments.
Gentlemen, final predictions. Who do you think it is? Pick number 5.
I'm going Shador.
I'm going Shador.
I don't want to believe it, so I'm going
That's
Mason
what
Graham.
you don't want to get your okay, that's what it is. You don't want to get
Randy
your
also
hopes up.
followed up, and now you get your pick. I hate to say it, but it's going to be Shador Sanders.
I have a question for you guys. Out of every mock draft that you've seen in the last 2 months, I can't remember a single one that has the top 4 correct.
No.
Number 1,
Not
Jags
one.
trade up to 2, 3, 4.
Nobody's
I haven't
predicted
seen one
that.
mock. We are 4 picks in, and all the mock drafts are already shot.
I'm going to play completely crazy real quick, but I think the Browns do also really like Jalen Milroe. What if the pick's Jalen Milroe right now? What if they reached on him?
Oh, that would be stupid.
It's
Jalen
dumb.
Milroe will be there tomorrow for the first round, I think.
There's some hype going around about how many quarterbacks are going in.
That's fair.
I
wouldn't bet my mortgage.
I
or
am
anything,
sitting
but-
here on the edge of my seat.
So who's the next team that really needs a quarterback? Probably Pittsburgh with the 21st pick.
The Saints need.
I mean, Saints, yeah, but they don't need it like a franchise guy.
No, that's true.
Because Derek Carr might be out for the year.
No, I know, but you know that Derek Carr will be back is what I mean. So you don't need to pick for necessarily the next 5 years.
Our screen officially says the pick is in. I literally, my heart is in my balls right now, for lack of a better phrase. My heart is in my balls. I am so
Double down.
curious. Yeah, I'll triple down. My heart is in my balls.
Best
And
fits are probably wide receiver, linebacker, O tackle, and yet I think for the Browns, and yet I think we are going quarterback.
I think quarterback is the best fit for this team still.
I'm still sitting
Just
here.
because there isn't a great one doesn't mean
Right.
we don't need one. But we need all the things you listed too.
I've never been more
Sheesh.
excited to hit a chime.
Ding, 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 ding.
It's in. Let's go.
I'm not even mad that we have dead space right now because I can't even think of anything other than I want to know what this pick is. You know what I mean?
I will say that the graphics just changed to the Browns over outside of Lambeau. What a historic place, too, to have the draft. I think it's a cool – I've always wanted to visit Lambeau.
too.
Shout out Rich, by the way, huge Packers fan from there. But that's one of my bucket list places to see a game.
I live in Lakewood, one street over from Lakewood Stadium, which isn't only the home of Lakewood football, it's the home of St. Ed's. And on Friday nights in football season, it's unbelievable that a stadium that might have 10,000 people in it for Ed's and Ignatius, maybe more than that, is right in my backyard, and that's what Lambeau is. It's like houses and people's tree lawns, and you're like, oh, I'm in, Cleveland Heights, and then all of a sudden you're like, damn, that's the Packers stadium.
If I'm not mistaken, the stadium holds more people than residents.
Yes.
And the waiting list to get season tickets, you put your kids when they're born on it.
Yes.
Yep.
That's
Also
insane.
true. And the people on the franchise, if I'm not mistaken.
It is. It is
You
self-owned.
can buy shares in the Green Bay Packers.
Doesn't mean much, but it is pretty cool.
Yeah.
Oh,
They're not
boy.
moving the team out of Green Bay. That's what that means.
That's true.
Here we
true.
go.
This is wild.
Oh.
Who are the Browns, by the way? I know it's all Goodell
jeez.
for this first round, but who are the Browns bringing to do the pick tomorrow? Like, who's going to be their
Joe
historic-
Thomas.
Oh, we announced
Joe
it? Okay.
Thomas. Yeah, it's
Very
Joe
cool.
Thomas. I think it is. If it's not Joe Thomas for that, he's the next pick in the whatever comes next. Now 36 probably. Oh boy.
Pick is in.
Round 1, pick 5, picks in.
Roger Goodell is on the
walking
stage.
onto the stage. All right. With the 5th overall pick of the 2025 NFL Draft, the Cleveland Browns select.
Mason Graham.
Wow, I'm disappointed in
It's
that.
a letdown.
Mason Graham, tackle from Michigan, defensive tackle. That's a bit of a letdown. I'm glad we got a haul because that's not what I expected there.
Mason Graham is considered one of the best, if not the best prospects. I know I didn't say it earlier.
At what position?
Defensive tackle, let me finish. One of the best prospects in this draft. It's him, Abdul Carter, Genty, and Hunter. So they traded down and still got one of the top prospects in this draft. Now, is it the most sexy position? Is it the most needed position? No, I agree with you. But
stop right there. Is it the most needed position? And your answer was no.
No.
yeah,
Then why do you draft him?
And here's the thing that I would do to take it even farther. Tell me who plays his position on the Kansas City Chiefs or the Philadelphia Eagles
I don't
or the
think that
Boston
means
Ravens.
that the position isn't
producer
important.
Deshaun, who is the defensive tackles for the Kansas
I
City
didn't ask
Chiefs.
Deshaun. I asked you.
Yeah, okay.
You're the one
that's
who
fine.
likes the pick.
I don't like the pick. I just don't hate the pick. I'm disappointed in the pick too. Yes, I'm a Shador fanboy, but you guys still didn't let me finish because they now have 2 picks in the second, 2 first rounds next year. They have a plethora of assets to trade back into this thing and get a quarterback in the first round.
Did Myles Garrett not say we're in win now mode? That's why I'm re-signing. My man took the money. Can we finally admit that?
unless they're going to pull off another move tonight that we haven't foreseen.
We were so excited for that move to get, first of all, a guy from Michigan. I don't care if he's the best at his. I hope he burns his Michigan gear. I hope he doesn't say. I hope he says his high school when they ask him for like Sunday night football. Because I'm
I
not
just
happy about
don't-
this pick.
It'll be fine. I'm sure the kid will be good. It's another ho-hum pick from a ho-hum franchise. It's not going to mean anything.
Bingo.
If he's the best ever at his position, we win 2 more games next year. And they're telling us they're going to win now, and I don't feel how a tackle does that on either side of the ball, frankly.
Okay, but what happens if, say, we get to pick 9 here, and the Saints trade the pick to the Browns to take Shador Sanders?
So you can't do that. Let's say that Tom Brady gets in a time machine, is 30, and wants to play in Cleveland. Oh, that would be dope. But, let's do something that could happen.
Okay,
Like, we're
but
gonna trade back up with the
It
Saints.
could happen. We have all this capital, these assets now.
Mm-hmm.
There's a high potential of something crazy still happening here. I like this pick, depending on what else happens in the draft.
So this could be semantics because you're 100% right. We don't know what the rest of the night or the rest of the weekend's going to bring. My evaluation of do you like this pick is based on right this second. And right now we haven't traded up with the Saints, and right now we don't have other people in the pipeline. Right now, you traded back, you got some assets, and you took a tackle.
Are we?
And if you're saying, what do you
Listen,
think?
we
right
got
now,
we got a comment. Ryan Bento says, "Who won the Super Bowl for Philly, Hurts or the D line?"
By the way, you don't have to interrupt us to have a user comment. You can let us finish our thought, and then they're not running the show. We
Okay,
are.
you can be upset that you didn't get your comment in first. Go ahead. Who won, Philly or the D tackles?
Hurts or the D
If
tackle.
the
Hurts,
D-
you mean.
Yes. Sorry.
if the D tackles were as good as you thought they were, you'd know their
D-line.
names and not just say D tackles.
It's the D line.
I ask my dad the same
D-line.
thing every morning when we have the same
That's
conversation.
it's
I
a
say,
straw
name me
man
one.
argument,
Name me
man.
one player on the defensive line for the Eagles, and he can't do it. And neither can you
but
guys.
that doesn't
and try to
mean
make
that the
argument.
position's not important. I'll take Noah's side on
You could
this.
say the same thing about the O line. If you have no one good on the O line,
You know real quick who's not on it. That's for sure.
I
just
think
because it's
I
not
think
a highlight
when the Philadelphia Eagles scored 58 points in the NFC Championship and 52 points in the Super Bowl, to make the argument that the D line won the Super Bowl is asinine.
that's not asinine.
It
That-
is.
That is literally
that's
a
a
They
no.
could
fair
have
point.
given up 49
No,
points and won both of
Because
those
That is a
games.
fair
reason-
point. The
the
pick.
reason-
Hold on, gentlemen. The pick is in for the Raiders, by the way. Okay, go on. Sorry.
Jalen Carter, Jordan Davis are the 2 defensive tackles for
Oh, we already know who the pick
Google it,
is.
too.
who?
Ashon Genty
To the Raiders?
to the Raiders.
I like that.
Interesting.
I'm playing the chime still, so. With the 6th overall pick, you've
I'd have
already
been-
heard.
I'd have been happier with this.
I agree.
100%.
This kid is
That's
good.
true.
Yeah.
So to get back on what we were talking about, so we can wrap it up and then we'll talk Genty real quick.
Yep.
Mahomes was sacked 6 times in that Super Bowl.
Good-
Shout
good-
out to Ryan Bento for that.
Great job out of the Eagles defensive line. I didn't say they were bad.
Okay. The reason the Philly dominated that game was because the defense suffocated Patrick Mahomes.
So the
You-
50
we-
points had nothing to do with it.
It does, but you don't get to 50 points by also stopping them to hit that many points.
Listen, to play devil's
it's a
advocate.
momentum game. It's not just you're going to go out there and score 50. Go
Play
ahead.
devil's advocate. Everybody that I was watching the game with, Noah included, the biggest takeaway was the defense for Philly. I'm not saying you're not right that scoring the points is what mattered, but I think it was more the juxtaposition, though, that we were shocked of what unfolded because we didn't expect that at all.
It is a fantastic D-line. It is a part of the key to the recipe to win a Super Bowl. No, it's not the sexiest pick.
When? We need a quarterback to win a
Philly.
Super
I
Bowl.
don't-
I was
that's-
talking about Browns.
That's the main point I was going to come back to over the whole thing. Every team that you name also has a stud at quarterback. Yes, the Eagles' defensive line was good. Yes, they played a big role in their success. They have Jalen Hurts.
Yeah.
We don't. We got 42-year-old Joe Flacco. Then we got Kenny Pickett and nothing right now.
Do you
And
not
to think that another defensive tackle or pass rusher is going to make us the Eagles is insane.
I'll be happy with this pick if we do trade back in. We now have a free first rounder to trade and get somebody that we talked about.
Agreed.
I think I mean, we're going to be sitting here watching the whole thing, talking with the people. Appreciate everyone out there watching yet again. I think we're going to see the Cleveland Browns make another selection almost for sure in my mind tonight now.
Almost for sure.
Almost for sure. Yeah, that's an expression.
Guaranteed, maybe.
Guaranteed maybe.
My point is, you're really like, are you sure or are you not sure that they're going to
I'm
do
like
that?
95.
That's pretty
pretty
high
sure.
that
Yeah.
they're going to trade back in. That's
All
interesting.
right, let me play the other side of your exact same argument. Let's say the Browns are done for tonight. You still feel as good about this pick as you did before?
Lesser, 100%.
We
yeah,
got a
lesser.
text that
I think we're on the
said,
same page.
we got a text in that says, tell Bento we have D-line, always best player on the board.
And Ryan Bento says, guys, what QB from this draft class is winning us a Super Bowl?
Shador Sanders or Cam Ward.
So you'll
If Shador ends up being
put my
Jalen
head at
Hurts.
the stake for
No, I won't put your head at your stake. I would sacrifice the second best defensive lineman in this draft for a quarterback.
would I sacrifice
with
you for a
potential.
Super Bowl? Probably.
yes, I would sacrifice both of you live on air. No, I'm just
Wow.
kidding.
Not that kind of stream,
I wouldn't
guys.
sacrifice either of you for a Super Bowl.
That's when we get flagged by
If it makes you
YouTube.
guys feel
Yes,
better.
that means you're a better friend.
I had told you that before that comment, but
Pay on time or
It's interesting. It's interesting. When do you think we see the Browns on the board again?
tomorrow.
second
That's
round.
the fucking problem.
Yeah.
You really think?
Yes, I think we're done.
You didn't want to get your hopes up with the pick.
I could be wrong.
And then
but
you
I
got
think tomorrow.
excited of what we got to trade back. And then you didn't want to get your hopes up that we were going to pick Shador. And now you're selling us on this.
I'm not
D-lineman?
to be completely candid. I am not trying to sell you on the D lineman. I am trying to say it's a smart pick for the reasons of it being a good player.
By the
is
way, he
top
did
five.
play center for Michigan as well, right? If I'm not
I
mistaken.
think it was a backup or something.
Yeah,
I think
didn't
he
know
got
that.
snaps at center. I could be wrong on that. Don't quote me.
He is one of the top prospects in this draft. So I get the logic there. Am I 100% happy about it? No. Do I want to see other things happen? Yes. I've answered all of those questions for you guys.
Are you old enough to remember guys named Courtney Brown and Gerard Warren?
Oh, yeah.
I mean, I know of.
Okay.
I mean,
Highly
yes.
touted, can't miss. Got to get him. Defensive lineman. If you're stupid, if you don't, because these are the best at their position. Excellent. Bust. And even if they're good, you get Myles Garrett, and we didn't win that much. I just don't. My point isn't that the position doesn't matter at all. My point isn't that this kid isn't good at his position. My point is it doesn't meaningfully change next season for this team, even if he's an absolute stud.
Maybe he didn't
And
play
that's what
center.
I'm disappointed about.
I
I
don't.
think I'm wrong on
We
that.
must be thinking about the same guy.
We
'Cause there
had
was a guy
the.
who played offensive and defensive line for Michigan as a backup. Who was
I
in?
thought it was him, but I'm not seeing anything on it.
It's not. It's nothing against this kid. It's nothing against anything. The position, defensive linemen do matter. I just don't. If you ask me a half an hour ago, how many wins do the Browns have next season? And then you saw who we took at 5, and you ask how many wins the Browns have next season, the answer is exactly the same.
I think part of it too is you got to think bigger picture here, and I think they're trying to think bigger
We've
picture.
been thinking bigger picture since fucking 1999.
I
When do you
understand.
stop thinking bigger picture?
When you're actually good, we're not actually
But
good.
we're failing at bigger picture. It doesn't take
not
a
this-
century.
It's not this
Shouldn't.
front office. It's not this front office's fault, but,
But
that's
it's
the
as
status
a
quo for
whole.
us.
So we're saying, hey,
It's not even
we
complete
sold
with Jimmy
Miles.
Haslam. He bought the team in 2012.
We sold Miles on we're going to be a team money. and now, like, where are we? We're no better than we
Nowhere.
were.
And that's what's frustrating about this entire thing. And this is why I say the draft in Cleveland pisses me off. Because, Noah, your opinion is probably about what we think is 75, 80% of fans probably think. Everybody's just okay with perpetual mediocrity because it was, quote unquote, a smart pick. You got, quote unquote, an important position. That isn't true. The reason I used the argument about the Chiefs and the Eagles to say who plays this position on their team wasn't to say the defensive lines don't matter. It was to get you to say, well, Pat Mahomes had a lot to do with it.
You guys ready for this headline?
Jalen Hurts had
Go
a lot
for
to
it.
do with it the last few years.
Ready for this headline?
Sure.
Browns' Travis Hunter trade mistake could be a generational error akin to Deshaun Watson deal. Man.
That's glass half empty. But
Where is that from?
Sporting
That is from
News?
Sporting News.
Jesus.
Says they were oh so close to finally doing something right. I like trading out of that number 2 pick for what we got. I don't like with what we did with it at number 5.
Okay, let me ask you this. I'm playing devil's advocate a little bit more just to think about the Browns on the macro, right? 3 years from now.
Yeah.
I know that
Got a
sucks.
crystal fucking ball, but go on.
Right. We're playing hypotheticals here.
Uh-huh.
3 years from now, Mason Graham, Myles Garrett, and co. Michael Hall being one of them as well, who is a promising young D tackle.
TJ Watt? Steelers aren't going to pay him.
Okay, I'm not
We're
going
in
that
fantasy
crazy.
land, but go on.
I'm not going that crazy. The Browns end up not taking a quarterback this year, taking one next year because it's touted to be a better quarterback class.
Okay.
That kid hits. And by the end of year 2, you're upset right now, but we have a quarterback. We got a top prospect in a weaker draft class on top of everything else.
And
that
if we're picking 12th next year because we made the playoffs with Joe Flacco,
now you have another pick to trade up.
Oh, chime time.
Let's see who the Jets took, and then I'm going to respond too.
The New York Jets have selected Armand Membu. We were talking about that O-tackle from Missouri a little bit
He's a
earlier.
monster.
Oh, yeah. Okay, he slipped my mind, so I want to take that back for a second.
Yeah, I didn't want to call you on it, but when you're like,
you should have. When you
overrated,
said
I'm
his
like,
name, I would have
okay.
been like, no. I was thinking of one of the guys later that was on the top 30 board, and
Gotcha.
anyway, it doesn't matter.
So he is now a New York Jet. Another poverty franchise means nothing.
Which is interesting because this is the second time they've taken a guy, Mekhi Becton being the other one, that was a tackle in college and probably would be a better guard in the NFL.
I just saw, by the way, New York Jets are the only team in professional sports, basically, MLB, NBA, and NFL, to not make the playoffs since, I forget the date.
Really?
I just saw
It's got to
the
be
stat.
Herm Edwards back when they had like Chad Pennington.
It was a long time.
The Bart Scott, can't wait. That was like the last time the Jets were good. It's been a long time.
That's
I
crazy.
want to come back to something you said. Nothing you said was wrong. Here's the problem I have with it, though. Browns fans who get excited about offensive and defensive tackles and tight ends and stuff when we need bigger skill positions always do the same thing. All right, we took this guy, but let me paint you a picture. In 11 years, when 832 things fall our way, and Joe Burrow's son is playing for the Browns, won't you be happy? I'm like, yeah, sure, but what are we supposed to do until then? Like, what are we going to do next season about the Browns based on this draft? I don't want a picture of drafting a kid who still hasn't played his last year. We get Arch Manning, and in 2 years he's good.
I agree with this take.
2029.
Next
agree.
year,
Like, for God's sake.
next year, the
But you know what
highest
year-
ever Mega Millions I'm going to hit. And I'm going to buy the Like, we're in fantasy land.
It's
Listen,
so
hold on.
wild. It's
the,
so wild.
The comments are in, by the way. I'm done. The team up north. Another Cleveland shit pick, bye-bye. I'm so pissed I'm going to bed. Our management is
I'm
terrible.
going to bed.
That is the fan reaction right now from Cleveland.
I hope they go to bed, and I hope we trade back in and get something exciting.
Mason Graham once again blew it. But he does wear 55. This must be one of your buddies.
55, no, it's my uncle, actually.
Oh.
55 was his high school.
He could be your
football
buddy,
number.
Gotcha.
Yeah, he is my buddy. Shout out Randy.
Was he at the live that we did?
No,
out of
he
our
was.
cities?
It's my other uncle.
Because he might be our buddies now too. I met a
No,
lot
that's
of your...
Barry. Barry's in here as well. I get what you're saying, but I think the whole thing of you comparing it to the lottery is the exact testament of what the NFL is. A lottery to be good.
I don't think it is
No.
for the Titans right now. And I don't think it is for the Jack because they got good players.
The Titans?
They got Cam Ward, didn't they?
Yeah. What if Cam Ward doesn't work? You don't know that Cam Ward's going to work.
Know that
That's not the point.
Yeah, you're missing it.
It's
You
not-
guys are thinking so negatively about this compared to that. That's what the argument is. I'm being optimistic about the pick because Mason Graham's a
No,
good prospect.
here's the problem. We could have said we're picking a Wunko Kawumbo, who I just made up, and you'd be like, listen, guys, we needed that position.
That's
Like,
not
that's a
true.
great pick. That's the problem.
That's not true.
And the other point is this: you never actually answered my question.
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, it's okay because we got sidetracked. A lot of it was my fault, but I want to come back to it because I can boil my whole argument down to you in this: how many wins would you have said the Browns had before this pick? And knowing nothing else, not speculating about 3 years from now or what we could do later tonight or what we could do in 15 minutes. Right now, we had the number 2 pick. We traded to 5. We took a player. What was your record for the Browns before that pick, and what is your record after the pick?
It would be the same answer though.
That's the end of my argument. We
But
didn't do anything to
can I-
get better,
Can I
even
finish?
though we're better at a position.
Same answer as Shador?
Yeah, because Shador isn't playing next year. Neither is Milrow if they take him. Neither is Dart. The only quarterback in this class that I think is playing meaningful snaps next year in the NFL
Definitely Cam Ward.
is Cam Ward.
Yeah. I think
mean,
Shador would play, though.
I don't know. Yeah, I think we'd see time. And
He might not
again,
start week 1, but he plays.
see Washington. You never know what's going to happen.
I agree, but you're making that argument for Shador, a guy I'm in favor of, but not letting that argument make sense for Mason Graham or anything else. What if this kid is the greatest defensive tackle since sliced bread? I could come
We
up
have
with
the greatest defensive end since sliced bread, and we watched him go 1-15.
Bingo.
we
That
watched
is
him go
the-
0-16. Why
in
would you-
his rookie year.
But it's the best ever generational talent, like you were calling Abdul Carter.
I agree, but you don't get there and win the big one just having a quarterback.
You do. Washington was putrid, awful,
Did
terrible
they win a Super Bowl?
for 20 years.
Did
they
they
went
win
to an NFC
Did
championship.
they win a
game.
Super Bowl?
That's not the question.
What is
That's
the
an asinine question.
What is the ultimate goal of an NFL season?
We had this episode.
You can't
see,
use
like,
that argument.
what is
as
the ultimate-
convenient
episode
and
27?
then not
What
use
is-
it.
what
if
is-
you think the goal for the Cleveland Browns next season is to win a Super Bowl, you are high.
I mean, I think it is
There
the
are-
goal going
there
into
are-
the season.
There
but
are 20 teams.
There's
if they're being
more
honest with
going
themselves,
on
Are
with-
absolutely not worried about
There's
winning
more
a Super
going-
Bowl next year.
There's more going on with this team than just next season.